Those of you with good memories will recall that Shill Stompers was previously known as Robert Fink, and that he uploaded videos where he argued, for example, that satellites are fake. This was before his channel got taken down by YouTube and he ended up in court, where he got fined a substantial amount of money for stalking and harassment.
Charles Duke puts this Polaroid down in a baggie, places it on the lunar surface, which is 250 degrees Fahrenheit, because it's sitting right in the sun, right out in the open sun, and yet it doesn't curl, it doesn't crinkle. I put mine in the vacuum chamber, and by the way, I did not put the heat lamp on it when I did it, because that was the very first one that Scott and I did together, was put that Polaroid in that chamber. And look what happened to it. It's all warped and crinkled.
Wouldn't it be interesting if that particular photograph of the astronaut's family, allegedly on the lunar surface, was the thing that blew this whole story apart? That Polaroid image, is used by many people supporting NASA's alleged ability to land humans on the lunar surface, which doesn't exist. That photograph is used as a point to demonstrate that it was real. If we can now show that a Polaroid image, a Polaroid image on the lunar surface would be destroyed by the heat, by the vacuum, and by the radiation, that photograph has to be faked. If we can now show that a Polaroid image on the lunar surface would be destroyed by the heat, by the vacuum, and by the radiation, that photograph has to be faked. If we can now show that a Polaroid image on the lunar surface would be destroyed by the heat, by the vacuum, and by the radiation, that photograph has to be faked. It doesn't prove that man didn't get there. That's the point. It just proves that the images that they use to support their contention that man got there is faked. So what else was faked? Was it the rocket to get there? Was it the ability of astronauts to survive the known dangers of space? Let alone the launch of the rocket. It's interesting that the Saturn V rocket launched successfully every time it was used. but the SLS just about staggered off the ground after 4 attempts to launch it. Due to bad weather and lack of hydrogen seals on the refueling rigs, they claimed that that was a success. Well, where's the evidence from the radiation meters contained within the Orion spacecraft, strapped to the 2 crash test dummies, Helga and Zohar? Where is the information about that? Hasn't appeared yet. Why not? Is it because it would show that high levels of radiation would be dangerous to humans? I wonder. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But if it does show that, NASA, you have a problem. You can't maintain your position claiming that humans have landed on the lunar surface 50 years ago. Well, more than 50 years ago. 54 years ago.
Yes, it's getting on, and every day that they don't do anything, they're completely stagnated, is just more proof that nobody was there.
Nobody was there, as claimed. They were all in the simulation exercises. They're at Cannon Air Force Base doing their prancing about for the president, President Johnson at the time. Nixon took the plaudits for the landing, though he wasn't present at the launch. He sent his vice president there, so if there'd been a disaster, he wouldn't have been implicated in it. It's cowardice. If they were so sure that it was going to be successful, surely the president would be present at such an auspicious moment, but no, he wasn't. He sent Spiro Agnew along. And what happened with him? He wasn't a very successful vice president, any more than Nixon was. But Nixon took the plaudits for it, spoke to the astronauts on the lunar surface, allegedly. That's not hard to arrange if you've got all the technology that is available to the security services. Of course you could get a phone call as if it was from the moon. So there's a lot of things now coming out which are becoming rather more obvious in the light of history. Now that we've examined so much of it, we've spent many years, many decades looking into this story. And the more we look, the more we found it's fabricated. It doesn't work.
So there's the Polaroid before it went in the chamber, right?
Okay, got it.
Just straight. This is after it came out of the chamber. I'm holding it with one hand, by the way. This stayed in there overnight. I mean, come on, guys. You know, and Bill says that his was just as bad. Then I find this interesting, is that when you go over to this, where's her face? Look at their faces. This is the one Bill had in his chamber, right? Where are their faces? They're gone.
Color balance is gone too.
Oh, and another thing you'll notice too, you see the Polaroid? It's bubbled. Where at the very top on the right-hand side, that is all bubbled right up. It's bubbled. The Polaroid, the picture inside of this white sheet is lifted right up like a bubble. It's up like a bubble.
Charles Duke left the photograph, and this Daily Express, UK Daily Express, says that there's a hidden message in the family photo.
I think they're right there. There was a hidden message. How the hell do you put a Polaroid image on the lunar surface without damaging it?
You put it in a baggie.
Okay. Here's the Daily Express article on the hidden message in the photograph. Actually, this photograph is somewhat wrinkled.
Well, it probably got wrinkled when he put it in his spacesuit.
This thing looks like it's in a sealed baggie, and that should just pop. That's a sealed unit. You can see where the heat sealed the edges off on it, right? If that was in a vacuum, that'd just blow up like a balloon. Oh, it says on the back, he wrote, "This is the family of astronaut Charlie Duke from the planet Earth who landed on the moon April 20th, 1972. He later revealed it had a hidden meaning."
Like he was never there.
Yeah.
Tell you, the more I look at that lunar surface, the more it looks like quick dry cement has been just tossed around the surface. March to the Moon, all the photographs have a bluish hue to them. Strange enough. Until they're color corrected. Heck, I cannot color correct that blue. I cannot get it out.
March to the Moon, you can see they put a nice smoothing overlay over top of everything. Some of the photos are clear, others are just wasted right out completely.
Well, if that photograph was encased in a sealed plastic bag, it would contain air, therefore it would float. Therefore, he would have to put a rock on it to stop it floating off. It's an idea, isn't it?
This is just this little scene that he put in from Disney. Now, just watch this. His thing is floating in front of him. And then he takes this and he pushes it all the way down. And the guy catches it. Now watch what he does. So it's weightless, right? It floats down. He's going to take it and then he tips it up to take a drink. Well, if you're in a weightless condition, nothing's going to come out.
You're right.
This is mistakes they make when they're faking stuff. Now, like that was just a simulation in itself, right? But those types of things will be in the Apollo videos. Like when they're so-called floating in space, I mean, they used a lot of stuff where they squeeze it in, right? But there's things that they could not do in a